Hi and welcome to Icy Kicks. On today's show, just a quick one. Some images have dropped onto the internet of someone who's managed to get their grubby little hands on the upcoming re-release of the Kyosho Optima Mid. And looking at the images, I'll put them up here as I go along. They have gone and done what they've done with previous Legendary series, and the box is laid out beautifully and the quality is there just like you expect. Now, it's not that cheap at £399, but you are getting quality. I have got one coming on the show and it's supposed to be dropping in the UK at the end of April, 29th of April, but I think it's going to slip slightly into the beginning of May. But as soon as it arrives, I'll get one on the show. Now, if you've been living under a rock and you haven't seen any of this family, I'll do a quick run through for you. There is quite a few, and these are some very famous racing buggies that came out by Kyosho a long time ago, kicking off in 1987 with the Optima Mid. That's this one. This is not box art because I haven't finished it yet. This is basically how it came. Then after that was the Turbo Optima Mid, which is basically this one. Now, the new release kit that we're getting is a bit of a weird one because the early ones come with the decals, so you can do either. You can do the mid or the turbo, you choose. Now, these are quite close. There was only a few things back in the day that were changed. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, because I personally think they've kind of missed a bit of a trick. They could have released this one and 6 months later released this one. And I think a lot of people that love these cars would like to actually purchase each one of a re-re. So I don't know, but I can kind of understand they're trying to attract people to get into this. The downside is, do you have to justify buying two to have two different ones? I don't know. That's a big ask, I think. Anyway, after the Turbo Optima Mid, we had the Turbo Optima Mid SE. Then we had the Turbo Optima Mid Special, or the TOMS, which is this one here, which is the really rare one to get hold of. Then there was the Optima Mid Custom, and then the final one was the Optima Mid Custom Special, which is this one on the end here. And there was a change from a short wheelbase to a slightly longer wheelbase, and then they changed the body design to what you see at the end here. This is not box art. This is a reproduction of a beautiful bit of artwork that the Optima House did. I'll put a link in the description. You should go check that out if you're new to this, because his artwork is mind-bendingly excellent. His 3D skills blow you away. He does 3D stuff that looks like real. Anyway, I digress. Now, there is a few changes that we kind of know, which have definitely been confirmed in these images, things that are not exactly the same. Now, I kind of like that, because people who have original ones, you will definitely be able to tell the difference between the original ones and the re-release. So it does kind of protect the values of the original ones, but there's some improvements in there. Now, the tires are different. Understandable, you get more modern tyres versus the old sort of mud outside dirt tracks. Now, I actually have picked up some of these reproduction tyres from marwanrc.com. He does them, and these are actually some of his tyres. So I will be putting on my re-re vintage tyres, because I like that kind of look. So you can pick them up from them. I'm not connected to him anyway, but I actually buy his tyres as well as his bodies to restore some of my cars. The shocks are different. Now, what Kyosho have gone and done is they've taken some parts from the Turbo Optima. So the tyres that you see on here, the tyres you get, the suspension is the same. So they're sharing parts to keep the costs down, which is understandable. Now, it's a real shame that they don't produce these shocks anymore, because to actually restore these is really difficult and the price is really expensive. So I would love to see them bring those out separate, so that you could actually buy them to restore the old vintage cars, as once you flip them over, you can scratch the tops of them, and then you've kind of got to get them re-anodized, which is a lot of work. So that's my only kind of bit of a downside. The driveline has been improved so that it can take brushless. Now, this is something the Kosho do on all their Legendary series, and I love that, and it's baked into the price. It's not an optional extra. It's not like the Schumacher Cat XLS that had a Pro transmission that you had to spend another £90 on. It's in there already. You can just put your brushless in and away you go, and they work perfectly. I have brushless in a few of my Legendary series and they love it. Now, one thing's for sure, Kyosho have knocked it out the park with this release, and I think personally are holding the best release for the whole year so far. So congratulations to Kyosho. Will Schumacher Racing come out with something soon? Oh, hopefully. It's been months and months. We know something's coming, but yet we see nothing at all. Also, will Tamiya pull out something super special that we've all been demanding for years and years and years? Will we see a madcap? Who knows? Will we see a, I don't know. God, there's so many cars that we demand from them. Will we see a king cab maybe? I honestly don't know. But one thing's for sure, it's brilliant to see Kyosho putting out the mid, and hopefully it will sell really well, and then we will get some other versions down the line, and then maybe they'll move on to stuff like the laser. But all we can do is keep our fingers crossed. Thanks so much. See you on the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. No, this way. But if you want to do that way, that's fine.